everybody, Lori here, and I'm new on the Spiegel Mom Scraps design team. Today's layout is a stitch and sequined full layout. I'll be using the Maggie Holmes carousel collection to make this layout. It's not a sketch and stitch. That stitch cut file is called Stitched Clouds, and it's by Virginia Walker for Confessions of a Paper Addict. And my idea is that I'm going to start adding my stitches. I'm just using the regular back stitch. And I'm going to try and make each cloud a different color. I'm going to stick to the overall color scheme of the carousel collection, which has teals, blues, whites, not teals and blues, it's pinks, blues, white, and yellow. And I start out using sequins from the Watch Me Flip packet, but I do end up adding some sequins from the Freezing for a Reason packet as well. Now, I am going to be stitching some sequins in onto some of the clouds, not all of the clouds, because I already have sort of a design in my mind of where my pictures are going to be. And what I'm doing is every other stitch is where I add a sequin, and then I make sure that I pass my needle through it so that it's grounded in. So there, you see I'm adding more pinks that I have left over from the Freezing for a Reason packet, and that's how the sequined clouds are going to look. For me, it looks like it's more fluffy by doing it like that. So after doing one cloud, I take a break and I was like, okay, let me see what the base of this stitched cut file is going to be, so that I don't add too much of the blue. For example, that's the base that I'm going to be using, but I don't want to add a lot of the blue in terms of the stitches, so I try to focus on other colors as well. And here's the overall, how the layout is going to look overall. I start out with 3 pictures. I end up adding 2 more, so I have 5 pictures. But it's going to look like if they were cascading down towards, leaning more towards the right side of the layout. And there, my background is all stitched. I have all my pictures ready. These are just some gorgeous pictures that it was just random. My son and I were just sitting around watching TV, and I was like, hey, let's take pictures. And it's weird that he started making the same faces that I was making. He doesn't really do that. But I'm glad it did, because it made for some memorable pictures, and I love that. So here, I was like, okay, I am in the mood to bash my stash as much as I can. So I start to add layers beneath the stitched background. Now, if you look closely, I didn't add sequins to the whole, all the clouds, nor where my pictures were going to be. And it was because if it's not going to be seen, I don't want to add the sequins there. So yeah, so I believe it's 2 layers of patterned paper beneath this this background, so that your eyes instantly go there. Plus, it helps tie in all the colors that I have going on within the pictures and within the sequins, and it just balances everything out. I go ahead and add that to my paper, to my actual base, and I try to center it right in the middle. I don't want to sound redundant, but yeah, I don't want it to look like a Polaroid picture. I wanted this I wanted this stitching, and I just wanted it to be in the center. I really hope I'm making sense. It's very early in the morning. The coffee hasn't kicked in yet. So yeah. Um, so now I'm bringing in the embellishments. I don't add any patterned paper beneath my pictures. I just leave them with the white border around them. So I'm trying to use up this carousel collection as much as I can. After I made this layout, I've made 2 more layouts. In the end, I do end up making quite a few layouts with it because I just had a lot. And yeah, after looking through the embellishments, I was like, okay, let me work on my title. Because usually when we work on titles, I don't know if it happens to you, but for me it happens. When I work on a layout, I forget to leave a space for the title. And I know we don't need to have a title, but for me, it's like sometimes it does. And this time I'm using that acetate. It's not acetate, it's acrylic. The word spring is in acrylic. It's the perfect teal that goes with the overall color scheme. And I'm using some pink paisley thickers to write sweet and selfies. So my title is going to be Sweet Spring Selfies. And 3 of my pictures are popped up on some craft foam, and the other 2 are not, just to create that idea of levels and yeah. And I'm trying to offset the pictures so that they are not on a straight line. For me, it's just to add to the overall whimsical factor of the layout. And here's where things get a bit weird, because I struggle with adding embellishments, because I was like, okay, I wanted to make a shaker pocket as if I didn't have enough sequins. Side note, you never have enough sequins. But yeah, I wanted to make a shaker pocket, but it was just, I knew in my mind that it wasn't going to work out. So in the end, I just take that frame out, that one, the one that's to the right hand side of the middle picture. And I was like, okay, let me focus on adding smaller and ephemera pieces and tags and just overall smaller embellishments, so that A, I don't cover up the background, B, I don't make the layout feel too crowded and heavy, and C, so that this layout doesn't seem like, what in the world was she thinking? But yeah, thankfully the carousel collection has lots of tickets and smaller ephemera pieces, so that I could work those in between the corners of the pictures and whatnot, sort of like you're seeing right now. And then I add this sticker that's that sticker beneath the title. That's where I'm going to be writing my journaling. I do fiddle a bit with the title. And yeah. Let's see. Yeah. The reason that I place my glue is because sometimes the glue, supposedly it's quick drying, but it takes a while to dry, especially if it's not on paper. If it's on a sequin or some mixed media, it takes a bit, not a whole lot. I'm just a bit impatient, but yeah. So here I'm playing around with the embellishments, layering some on top of each other. Others I'm adding a bit of craft foam on the corners so that the corners are popped up. I add some flowers to the right hand side, some phrase stickers to stuff. So I'm playing around with the placement of the embellishments. And now that I look at it, I love how those sequins look, because they just add that perfect touch of sparkle to a layout. Originally, I had 2 flowers to the right hand side of my pictures. I move one to the other side just to balance it out and add something to, well, next to the title. I'm adding some chipboards, chipboard stickers. And I'm adding smaller embellishments and stickers onto the clusters, because if you really look at it, I have 5 clusters where my pictures are, and then a 6th cluster near the title. But it works out, it plays out. I love it. I love how it turns out. And it's mixed media time. It's gotten to the point that I can't make a layout without adding some sort of mixed media to it. So I bring in, let me see, I have the colors here. I bring in Piggy Pink, Bumbly Bee, and Boggy Boarding Blue. So I bring in a pink, a yellow, and a teal. And those colors are from shimmers. I love the mixture of shimmers and sequins, Spiegel Mom sequins. They are just amazing. So yeah, I'm adding some splatters. I thought about adding the splatters just focusing near the embellishment clusters, but I end up adding it all around the layout. And I like that. I like that effect. So yeah, I bring in a baby wipe just to make sure that none of the splatters make it onto my pictures. I've added some sequins to the lens of the camera ephemera that's towards the bottom of the layout. And then I bring in a gold. Yep. And I bring that in because some of the embellishments have that touch of gold on them. So, I love tying things together as much as I can. So yeah, so I've added my splatters of pink, yellow, teal, and gold. Oh, and I also bring in Luck O' the Irish, because even though the collection has mostly teals and pinks, it has a bit of that greeny color in them, and I like tying things together and balancing things out. So now what I'm doing is from the, wow, I forgot the name of the original packet, but it's that packet that you see to the right hand side. It has some tiny gold stars. So now I'm just adding them in groups of 3 near my clusters. Again, just to add an extra pop of gold to the layout. Let me see if I have that packet here so that I can tell you the name, but it's the first one that I mentioned before adding the freezing for a season. And there you go. I loved how this layout turned out. I hope I've inspired you to grab your sequins and add them all over your layout. If anything, guys, I'll see you back soon with another process video, and yeah, have a great day. You can get 15% discount by using the code Lorimar15 on the Spiegel Mom Scraps shop for your next order of sequins.